Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. My name is Shahnaz Bisasa, and I would like to welcome you to our program, Our Islam, Peace, Not Hostility. This program is brought to you by the Ahmadiyya Anjuman Ishati Islam Incorporated of Trinidad and Tobago, an organization that promotes a peaceful Islam, a tolerant Islam, an intelligent Islam, an organization that promotes the pristine Islam as taught by the Holy Prophet Muhammad, upon whom be peace. Join us now for this week's message.
Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh, amma ba'd. Fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi ighfirli wa liwalidayya wa liman dakhala baytiya mu'minan wal lil mu'minina wal mu'minat wa la tazid az-zalimina illa tabara. Sadaqallahul aliyyul azim. Wa sadaqa rasuluhun nabiyyul kareem wa nahnu ala dhalika minash shahideen. I bear witness that there is one God, Allah. I also bear witness that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, is the last, the final messenger of Allah, after whom no prophet, old or new, will come. And I begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I have read from chapter 71, verse 28 of the Qur'an. That chapter is entitled Noah. It is about the Prophet Noah and his experiences and the lessons that we can learn from his life. The Arabic that I read can be translated as my nurturer, forgive me and my parents, and him or her who enters my home, believing, and the believing men and the believing women. And do not increase the wrongdoers in anything but destruction. Now, Noah, as a prophet of God, or as a personality recognized by so many religions, even primitive religions recognize some story associated with Noah and the flood. But Noah is often associated with destruction of the entire world, according to some. Destruction of only a portion of the world, according to more sensible and rational thinking. We are told in the Quran something unique about Noah, and that is that the opposition to him was no doubt very intense, and they suffered severe consequences. But we are told in the Quran that there is another aspect of Noah, and that is he prayed for forgiveness for people. He prayed for forgiveness for his people, on the condition that they should trust in God, they should believe in God, and whoever enters his home believing. In addition, those who are the supporters and followers of him, believing men and believing women, he prayed for their forgiveness, their protection. What is forgiveness really? The purpose of forgiveness is not to set free the person who caused you grief. The purpose of forgiveness is to end the grief which constantly haunts you because you are angry with someone. You are grieving because of the harm someone has caused you. And so therefore, when you forgive that person, you end the grief. You bring an end to the grief which has constantly haunted you. You can now move on. This brings about a peace in your heart. But to feel more peace in your lifetime requires a lot of effort. It's not easy to be at peace with oneself, with one's creator, with one's fellow human beings. No doubt, daily obligations and responsibilities can leave you tired and drained. And in order to find peace, it is sometimes necessary to disconnect from everything. The teachings of the Qur'an, therefore, provide an oasis where you can rest your mind, your body, and your soul, your spirit. The Qur'an teaches us that a person must never lose hope. Every one of us must look forward to what tomorrow can bring. Indeed, that's a verse of the Qur'an that says everyone should be careful of what they send forth for tomorrow. But in order to do that, we must understand what is the essence of religion. Religion is not mere ritual. The performance of certain rites and the acceptance of certain doctrines. Religion is more than all of that. The essence of religion is to totally and constantly bathe yourselves, immerse yourself, baptize yourself in the attributes of Allah, the attributes of God. We are told in the Quran that Allah has the most beautiful of attributes, and that is obvious. Don't we see in the world there is love, there is kindness, there is forgiveness, there is mercy, there is generosity, there is truth? These are not material things. They didn't come into existence with the Big Bang. They are not to be found on trees and in the marketplace. Where did these qualities come from? Who possesses these qualities, which are non-material? All religions teach us that these are the attributes of the divine being. The being that has given us the opportunity to emulate those qualities, to develop those qualities so that a person can say, "He that seeth me seeth God." So Allah's attributes that we develop within us depend upon our conduct and behavior. What is conduct and behavior? Conduct is how we carry about ourselves. Another word for that in English is deportment. Our skills, our abilities, our talents. Behavior is how we respond to others. And another word for that is comportment. So there is deportment and comportment. There is conduct and there is behavior. Comportment and behavior means living with others, having good relationships with others. Of course, bad behavior would mean just the opposite, having a bad relationship with others. So that the religion of Islam is really a religion that has been given from time immemorial through various scriptures and various prophets of God, the founders of all religions. Never gave names to their religions. These were given afterwards. They always taught the religion of Islam, a word that means peace. So Islam is using the Quranic knowledge, the knowledge of the Quran, to develop our conduct and our behavior. Now, the Quran provides guidelines on three things: the mechanics of conduct and behavior. What in fact are the methods of developing our conduct and behavior? The Quran also provides guidelines on the changing of conduct and behavior, so that a person can change from good to bad, and vice versa. A person can be a good person and become bad. And there are certain guidelines that determine whether you can change from good to bad or bad to good. And thirdly, the Quran gives us guidelines on the management of good conduct and behavior. Having changed your conduct, how do you maintain it? How do you manage it? So there are three things again: the mechanics of conduct and behavior, the changing of conduct and behavior, and the management of good conduct and behavior. In order to develop conduct and behavior, and we are speaking here of good conduct and good behavior, the Quran teaches us about faith and doubt. And that's why at the beginning of the Quran it tells us, Zalikal Kitabu la rayba fi. This book, there is no doubt in it. When there is faith, there is always hope. When there is doubt, there is always fear. Once you have faith and you have confidence and you have trust, and that's why the prayer of Noah says, those who have faith, those who believe, they believe in men and they believe in women. Faith gives us hope. But when we have doubts, there is fear. So behavior and conduct are based on strengthening our faith and managing our fears. Because it is the removal of fear that strengthens our faith. When your faith is strong, you have no fear. The Quran says, La khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun. No fear shall come upon you, nor shall you grieve, those who believe. So when we remove our fears, our faith becomes stronger. And that is why in the Quran there are different types of fear. There are different words used for fear. One is a word that means caution. Sometimes we think about fear as only something that is, ghastly and frightening. But fear can mean caution, to be wary, to be apprehensive, to prepare for danger, to take precaution, to be on guard. A person is going for a drive and you put on your seatbelt. You're prepared for danger. You're afraid you could get into an accident. Doesn't mean that you're frightened, but you're caution. You're taking precaution. In the events of today, people wear masks as a precaution because they're afraid of getting the virus. They're afraid of getting sick. So we take medicines, we take precautions. So there's one word in the Quran that deals with this apprehension and this preparation for danger. But sometimes a person is in awe of that which is bigger than him or her. Largeness. As some people see a genie or something frightful and they're afraid of it. But it doesn't always mean that you're afraid in the sense that you can't move forward. Sometimes that fear gives you hope because you have a knowledge of the result. For example, you get a fever or you take a test and you fear you will get sick. It doesn't mean you are frightened. But you have knowledge that perhaps you will suffer from some disease. You may do a test and realize, well, it may be cancerous. Or my sugar is high, I may have diabetes. So that kind of fear, that kind of dread is also equated with the knowledge of something, the expectation of something. My test will show such and such, and so that is what I'm afraid of. There's another word in the Quran that is used for fear, that is an apprehension, that is fear of an impending event. You want to know something is going to happen. Did I do enough to prepare myself? If a person has to write an examination, for example, or do a test, driving test, or whatever it may be. Did I do enough? Did I take enough practice? Did I study enough? So that's a type of fear as well. And then there's a fear of awaiting an outcome, a result or result. Whereas the first one was, did I do enough? Now it is, have I done enough? Having written the exam, I'm awaiting the outcome or results, and I'm afraid now. I'm analyzing myself. I look at my life, I look at my family, I look at my business. Did I do well enough? All these are fears that determine how we develop our conduct and behavior. There's another word used in the Quran for fear, which means a confused fear, a consternation. You're faced with a situation, you don't know where to turn, you're afraid. I just don't know what to do. And the Quran tells us, remain calm. Don't be confused when you have this type of fear. In fact, that word for fear also means to roll up your sleeve. So that it means that when you're afraid, you must be prepared to roll up your sleeves to face the challenge that is before you. And this is why we see one of the guidelines that is given to us in the Quran in order to manage fear is fasting. The Quran tells us that fasting is given to us for taqwa, which is an annual preventative maintenance to service the physical and moral and spiritual self. You shut down everything. You shut down your sexual urges, you shut down your eating and drinking, you shut down your sleeping time. Just as in order to, people are afraid of the pandemic and the virus that is going on, and they would shut down the country if necessary, the world if necessary, because of that fear of the spread. So it means to take precautions and preventative maintenance. These are times when we have to take a preventive maintenance. So taqwa is to save oneself from harm or injury, to be cautious in whatever you do. So fasting teaches us how to be cautious, and that's why those who fast and develop that attitude of caution, they will know that wherever you go, you need to wash your hands, you need to wear your mask, especially in these times. All of these are religious acts because they prevent us from obtaining harm or injury, and they require us to be cautious. So Muslims develop this attitude of taqwa or being cautious in the month of Ramadan. Just as if a person has a factory or you have an appliance, you may want to, or even your home, you may have spring cleaning. There are times in which you need to get rid of things and manage things once again and make it new, to check to see if everything is in working order. And that is what taqwa is. So fasting is an annual preventative maintenance. It's a service. It's a shutdown of oneself and one's life so that you can take stock and you can make amends. In fact, one of the translation of the word fasting, taqwa, is God-fearing. To be cautious of, or to be cautious with the attributes of Allah, your nurturer. The Quran tells us Allah is our nurturer, which means the one who takes us from stage to stage until we reach a stage of perfection. The concept of God in Islam, as is I'm sure in every religion, is that Allah, God, is an interactive God. When we liaise with Him, He liaises with us, and He guides us, and He helps us. So the Quran tells us that we must not be afraid of Allah. Allah gave us religion not to punish us, but to correct ourselves, to help us to meet with Him. We have to cleanse ourselves to meet with a clean, divine being. And so the Quran says in one place, Iyaya farhabun. Me alone should give you contentment. Fear of God means being content with God, not being afraid of God, but to be content with God, to be satisfied with whatever He dishes out to us in life. Every individual must realize that I may not be better off. I may not be better off than another person. But I am chosen and I am favored by Allah to do things better than others. My role is to do better than others. I'm not better off. I don't consider myself to be better than others. But in my actions and behavior, I must do things, I must do it in a way much better than others. So the teaching of the Quran is that where there is faith, there is hope. Where there is doubt, there is fear. And so we need to find that contentment in Almighty Allah, to be satisfied that He is a being that is there to assist us in every circumstance that we may face in life, good or bad. But we must be prepared to serve Him and to roll up our sleeves when the time is required to do so. Barakallahu lana wa lakum fil Qur'an al-Azim wa nafa'ana wa iyyakum bil ayati wa zikr al-hakim innahu ta'ala jawadun kareem malikun barrufur rahim. Alhamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina may yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu wa nashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa nashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsani wa ita'i zil qurba wa yanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkari wal baghi ya'izakum la'allakum tadhakkarun. Uzkurullaha yazkurkum wad'uhu yastajib lakum wa la zikrullahi ala akbar.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Praise be to Allah, the originator of the heavens and the earth, the maker of the angels, messengers flying on wings, 2 and 3 and 4. He increases in creation what He pleases. Surely Allah is possessor of power over all things. Whatever Allah grants to men of His mercy, there is none to withhold it, and what He withholds, none can grant thereafter. And He is the mighty, the wise. O men, call to mind the favor of Allah to you. Is there any creator besides Allah who provides for you from the heaven and the earth? There is no God but He. How are you then turned away? And if they reject thee, truly messengers before thee were rejected, and to Allah are all affairs returned. O man, surely the promise of Allah is true, so let not the life of this world deceive you, and let not the arch-deceiver deceive you about Allah. Surely the devil is your enemy, so take him for an enemy. He only invites his party to be companions of the burning fire. Those who disbelieve, for them is a severe chastisement. And those who believe and do good, for them is forgiveness and a great reward. Is he whose evil deed is made fair seeming to him, so that he considers it good? Now surely Allah leaves in error whom He pleases, and guides aright whom He pleases. So let not thy soul waste in grief for them. Surely Allah is knower of what they do. And Allah is He who sends the winds, so they raise a cloud. Then we drive it onto a dead land, and therewith give light to the earth after its death, and so is the quickening. Whoever desires might, then to Allah belongs the might wholly. To Him do ascend the goodly words and the goodly deed. He exalts it. And those who plan evil, for them is a severe chastisement, and their plan will perish. And Allah created you from dust, then from the life germ, then He made you pairs. And no female bears, nor brings forth, except with His knowledge. And no one living long is granted a long life, nor is aught diminished of one life, but it is all in a book. Surely this is easy to Allah. And the two seas are not alike, the one sweet, very sweet, pleasant to drink, and the other salt, bitter. Yet from both you eat fresh flesh, and bring forth ornaments which you wear. And thou seest the ships cleave through it, that you may seek of his bounty, and that you may give thanks. He causes the night to enter in upon the day, and causes the day to enter in upon the night. And he has made subservient the sun and the moon. Each one moves to an appointed time. This is Allah, your Lord. His is the kingdom, and those whom you call upon beside him own not a straw. If you call on them, they hear not your call, and if they heard, they could not answer you. And on the day of resurrection, they will deny you associating them with Allah, and none can inform thee like the all-aware one. Amen.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. My name is Raihan Bisasa, and I will be reciting in English chapter 73 of the Holy Qur'an, sections 1 and 2, entitled Al-Muzammil, the one covering himself up. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. O thou covering thyself up, rise to pray by night except a little, half of it or lessen it a little, or add to it and recite the Quran in a leisurely manner. Surely we shall charge thee with a weighty word. The rising by night is surely the firmest way to tread, and most effective in speech. Truly thou hast by day prolonged occupation, and remember the name of thy Lord, and devote thyself to him with complete devotion. The Lord of the East and the West, there is no God but he, so take him for protector. And bear patiently what they say, and forsake them with a becoming withdrawal. And leave me and the deniers, possessors of plenty, and respite them a little. Surely with us are heavy fetters and a flaming fire, and food that chokes and a painful chastisement, on the day when the earth and the mountains quake, and the mountains become as heaps of sand let loose. Surely we have sent to you a messenger, a witness against you, as we sent a messenger to Pharaoh. But Pharaoh disobeyed the messenger, so we seized him with a violent grip. How then, if you disbelieve, will you guard yourselves on the day which will make children gray-headed? The heaven being rent asunder thereby, his promise is ever fulfilled. Surely this is a reminder, so let him who will take away to his Lord. Thy Lord knows indeed that thou passest in prayer nearly 2/3 of the night, and sometimes half of it, and sometimes 1/3 of it, as do a party of those with thee. And Allah measures the night and the day. He knows that all of you are not able to do it, so he has turned to you mercifully. So read of the Quran that which is easy for you. He knows that there are sick among you, and others who travel in the land seeking of Allah's bounty, and others who fight in Allah's way. So read as much of it as is easy for you, and keep up prayer and pay the poor rate and offer to Allah a goodly gift. And whatever good you send beforehand for yourselves, you will find it with Allah. That is best and greatest in reward. And ask forgiveness of Allah. Surely Allah is forgiving, merciful. Amen.
Thank you for joining us. Tune in again next week for another episode of Our Islam, Peace, Not Hostility. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you.